Hi and welcome to IABM TV. Today I'm joined by Richard Brandon, Chief Marketing Officer at Edgeware. Richard, welcome to IABM TV.
Thanks very much.
Can you start by telling us about what Edgeware are doing at IBC this year?
Sure, we're well, I guess we're showing a couple of areas, our origin products which kind of pick up after encoding for OTT and IPTV delivery, and our CDN infrastructure.
Okay, and can you tell us about how Edgeware delivers such a high quality of experience for audiences?
Yeah, I mean there's a few things we do obviously in that whole process from ingesting content through to streaming it out. A couple of things we're showing that are quite unique at the show this year. On the origin side is what's called frame accurate ad insertion, so you're going to do a personalized ad and replace it, especially on the Dash protocol for Android devices. It's quite critical that you segment that frame in a way that you drop in the ad in the right place. And then on the streaming side, we have a watermarking solution, which is again quite unique, where we put a very powerful watermark actually inside the stream individually as it goes out of the CDN.
So it must be very difficult with something like forensic watermarking to stay one step ahead of the people that you're trying to, to beat. So what are some of the challenges that your customers are finding, and how are you guys helping with that?
Yeah, and it's certainly a growing problem. The bulk of the money ultimately goes on producing and buying the rights for content. So protecting that content is very important. There's a couple of ways people do watermarking, and I suppose the more conventional method is what's called AB method, where you create two copies of all of the content and you stream that in a different order and you create a code that way. But the challenge with that is it's very intensive going through the CDN. It doubles the amount of traffic. Yeah. So we're able to embed very efficiently, but more importantly, it's much harder to break the code for any kind of pirate out there.
And so what about with ad insertion? What are some of the challenges your customers are facing with that?
Yeah, so the main problem with ad insertion from the part of the flow that we're involved in is segmenting the stream into the 3 or 4 second segments that OTT requires, because there's an ad marker in the stream, and that ad marker will by default just end up somewhere in the middle of the segment.
Right, okay.
And then when the ad's replaced with something, you have to replace a whole segment. So you can see a glitch. You can either see that you've overwritten a little bit of the show, or worse still, you might see a second or two of an original ad before the replaced ad comes along. So what we do, which is quite unique, is we segment in line with the ad marker. So instead of just 2-3 second segments, we might have a 1 second segment followed by a 5 second segment. So the ad marker's in exactly the right place. And we get a completely glitch-free, high-quality TV-like replaced ad. Right.
Okay. And so, what are your containerized solutions?
Yeah, containerization. I mean, this is a big trend in IT in general as we've moved to cloud, and obviously everybody's got used to cloud and the advantages of cloud. But for a long time, there was actually quite an overhead of running your applications in a virtual environment. Containerization is all about re-architecting the software itself into small packages of code that run extremely efficiently and are easy to operate in a cloud-native environment. So we have a demonstration downstairs at the show today where we're running our containerized software for ad insertion. Right. And part of that's running in Google Cloud. The actual ads that are inserted are coming back from an Amazon cloud.
Oh, okay. So they can all work together.
Yeah, it all works together. It's a standard operating environment. There's sort of de facto standards now in that world using what's called Docker containers, and they're managed by Kubernetes, which is again kind of becoming a de facto standard. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Richard, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
You can find out more about all of these products and solutions at edgeware.tv.